On today's episode of WatchJRGo, we're back with the Escalade, and hopefully today we get to drive it. What is going on, guys? I am WatchJRGo, and today, like I said, we are back with my $4,000 Escalade that cost a little bit more than $4,000 at this point. And as you can tell, I'm already covered in dirt, covered in sweat, because I wanted to jump in and get a bunch of the annoying stuff out of the way for you guys before we started. So come on in here and let's take a look at what we had going on. Now, right before we left for the lake, I vacuumed this thing down to negative 30 inches of mercury there. And when we came back, the needle was at 10. So it had moved a long way over the span of about 1 week. So I figured we better re-O-ring this thing. So we went to O'Reilly's, we picked up the O-ring kit that's over here, the Murray, I think the 26824, the Rapid Seal AC system kit here. And I replaced all of the O-rings that we had messed with. So the condenser O-rings, the compressor O-rings, and honestly, let's take a good look here. Some of them looked, well, the compressor ones looked destroyed. So that one's kind of flattened out. You can see that it's all jaggedy, maybe some small cuts in there on that one. This one just generally doesn't look great, some aluminum shavings and junk. And these were the ones off the condenser, which look much better, but still are not in good shape. So we replaced them all and we just put it back on the vacuum pump. And honestly, I think we're just gonna charge it here in a second. It's probably gonna hold now. It still, I mean, it only lost 20 inches of mercury over a week. Well, I mean, it's not terrible. It probably leaked down over a summer, but now hopefully it never leaks down. I'm hoping it holds. Also, the oil pressure sender was trash. We were getting a code for that. I changed that a minute ago and plugged it back in, and we now have oil pressure back on the dash where it belongs. So another code is fixed. Luckily, I had more oil pressure senders from all these engines we had. And now I think we just need to put the fans on. Oh, the other big thing, I know I mentioned that we needed an intake. I went and bought an intake. I actually just went to the salvage yard, found another 2013 Escalade, and we have the stock intake right here, even another MAF, another air cleaner housing, all that stuff. I got all this for $40, which is honestly less than it would cost to ship one. So huge shout out to our local salvage yard that seems to have everything when you need it. Also, this is what I was talking about. This is where the valve cover connects right there to metered air, and we had to have that. So this is ready to drop in, and when it is in, it runs perfectly. So, fans, charge the AC, it's holding. It's been about 10 minutes so far, it's still holding. I think we're gonna charge this and the car is gonna run today. So let's get after it. About family. We're good now. Sorry guys, I know it's loud in here, but we got the vacuum pump back on one more time. We did our leak check. Now we're getting it, a full pump cycle, 15 minutes before we charge this thing. So Eric's looking up what we need to charge it to. Unfortunately, the sticker's missing under the hood, so we don't just know how many pounds it takes. Everything under the hood's back together, the radiator, the E-fans, the intake, it's all back in. This thing is ready to run. But, of course, here we are with a front end to put on. So it'll start here in a moment, but we can put the front end on after that. We still have to fill it with coolant too, but so close. Well, we've got the AC charged, the coolant full, and now it's time to start bolting this front end together. So, done. Take it for a drive. Sell it, yeah. All right, let's put all these bolts back in. There is about 1 million tins to hold the front end together. And we got the headlights sitting here because we have to keep fitting them to remember what order it went in. But we're gonna get it all down. I do know they went on after this.
That's the wrong bolt.
Got some big washer, boys. Hey, look at that. I think the headlights might go in now. Yeah, because that lower bumper support goes in way later. Let's put the headlights in. It just breaks. Anyway, we have everything back in here. The foam that goes behind the bumper, the support foam, that's in there. Headlights, all back in. And this little beauty cover here actually goes on a few seconds from now. So we're gonna set this just back here. And Eric is grabbing the very large Cadillac logo that holds it's the entire front end. So let's get this thing slapped on. And it's got a front end. Contact. Wow. Really, why does this body line look really straight? Oh, this one's a little bigger. That one's really tight over there. Yeah. Well, the hood is close. It's probably about as good as it was before, honestly. Let's be real here. It wasn't perfect before. It does depend on which way you're looking at it this time. All right. We're gonna start this thing and move it for the first time. I've never driven it, obviously, because I bought it dead. But I'm excited that it looks like a finished Escalade here. Take a look at that. Now we got more things to finish, don't worry. We'll fix the steps. I think everybody wanted to see that happen. Let's hop in here and move this thing. And then we're gonna tune it. So I'm gonna guess it's not gonna start.
Oh, check engine light?
Yeah, check engine light. It said no. Denied. All right, let's shut this music off. I did add washer fluid. It's not low. And I know why the airbag light's on. I'm gonna fix that. But hey, we've got cold air and it moves. Am I good? Eric says go straight. The headlights on this thing rock, look at that. Woohoo! It's time to jump in here and get all this DoD stuff turned off so that the check engine light clears. So, I've got HP tuners loaded up right now and we're pulling the ECM, TCM, FSCM, everything in, and then we're gonna make a couple quick edits to the ECM. I'll show you guys those to turn off DoD, and then we'll just flash the ECU. It's gonna take 2 credits and there should be no more check engine light, because basically you just go in and disable the codes that it sets for missing the VLOM, which is that oil distribution valley cover. So this one's been replaced with an aftermarket one, which means it probably has a cam in it too. And I mean, it should be ready to go as soon as the check engine light's turned off. There's one more setting that's like a global DoD disable. We'll set that one as well and should be ready to rock and roll with no lights on the dash. It looks like we're about 50 seconds from making a few changes here. So this is actually super simple to do. You can do this instead of running one of those bypass deals that you would plug in the OBD2 port if you want. If you're doing a mechanical delete like this one has, you can go even further and delete the codes. So it's engine, load up that window there. If I remember right, fuel. It's been a second here. One of these might say DOD. Fuel, lean fuel saving, DOD disable, and that's it. That is the only thing we have to change here. There's also a couple DTCs in here that start at 3400, so 3400 right there. And these are, you know, it says a set malfunction indicator lamp on second error. We're not worried about that because there is no cylinder deactivation, so shut that off. No error reported, no error reported, and yeah, 3400 to 3457, and turn them all to no error reported, and you're good. This thing's also showing me misfires on 6 and 7, some of the DoD cylinders, and if you give it any throttle at all, the misfire count goes straight to 0, and then when it goes back to idle, after a couple seconds, the misfires come back. So I think the DoD really needs to be turned off before this thing's gonna run right, and I'm out of credits. I'm going home for the night. Next day, we are back with the Escalade, and we need to knock out 2 things, and I think we're ready to drive this thing. Really just one thing. The main thing is flashing this tune, because for some reason, after it warms up, I think it's going into V4 mode, and it's showing up that there's misfires even though the coil packs are actually disabled. And I forgot the hood latch sensor. So if you can see, the latch is right there. There's a little wiring harness right there that I'm touching, if you can see that. And I left the connector, like, it's sitting right down in there. I saw that connector in there and I was like, where does this go? Well, I guess I get to pop this whole trim piece back off. Hopefully I can reach down in there and connect that connector. It's super easy, just a little 3-pin connector. And I was like, this goes somewhere. I found out where it goes. It always says hood open on the dash. We've got HP tuners fired up. The MPI V2, I don't have a 3 yet. It's connected, sitting right there. Ignition is on, and let's write this tune. So I think we only need to write show license option. All right, we are flashing the ECU right now. I should really hook up a battery charger because if this thing dies, we're in trouble. 43 seconds. If the battery can't hold up for 43 seconds, we are in trouble. I hate doing this without that big snap-on charger like Johnny has hooked up, because you're kind of playing with fire on any car where you go ride an ECU and you don't have enough battery power. 12, 10, it's not quite real-time seconds there. All right, let's start this thing up. You know, the first time we started it, it was running perfectly and there weren't any misfires, and then after it got hot, I think it shut down half the bank. Half of the banks, so that's when we started having issues, so we're probably good now. I am a fan of those misfire counts right there. Idling down, it was a cold start. She's looking pretty good. It sounds better too. For some reason after it warmed up, Eric and I were like, something's wrong. It just needed DOD shut off. No more check engine light at all. We are good because we've got oil pressure too. We fixed everything and I can finally take it for a drive and put some new fuel in it. This fuel it's a year old. This thing's great. It goes down the road straight. It's smooth. The transmission shifts right. Check this out. I got to get that airbag light fixed. It's because I left some of the seats unhooked, but we should have that cleared. And of course, I still have to put all the rest of this interior together because we have a bunch of brand new everything for this. But it's going to be really clean once all that's done. Right now, we're heading straight to the car wash and the gas station. We're going to knock out both of those, get it cleaned up, just quickly cleaned up, and we'll go from there. $4,000 Escalade. Well, I mean 8 now, but who's counting? Hey, we made it to O'Reilly's with the Escalade. The wiper blades were shot, so I got the cheap ones. These are only $10 each if you guys get these out of the back. And also, of course, I broke one of the turn signal bulbs, so I got 2 new ones. I'm just gonna change them both. So 3357s are what they are. Let's hop under this thing. We should be able to just do it in the parking lot in 2 seconds. You guys notice this thing's filthy under here? I did a pretty good job cleaning the rest of it, but apparently not the bottom. Our goal today is not to get pulled over on the inaugural test drive, so that's why we're fixing this right now. I know I'm touching the bulb right now. Fog light, turn signal. Turn signal acquired. She's in. Did we do it right? Remote testing system. Looks like we did it right. It flashed. Guys, we're not messing around here. We are putting the Escalade straight to work because it runs great. Getting the next project going. This, of course, is my off-road Corvette I bought from Lee C Parts. Honestly, a big mistake. You guys didn't really watch the video. I think we made 1 or 2 videos about this thing so far, probably just 1, but it didn't really do that well, which is really unfortunate because this is honestly, I think, one of the coolest cars, super fun to drive around. It's like driving a dune buggy because it, you know, it has all this crazy suspension travel for what little suspension travel a Corvette has. It's just fun to drive. So hopefully you guys are with me for this bad boy because we're gonna put a clutch in it, get it back on the road, and then go play out in the rocks with Weston Champlin. But for now, we're gonna use the Escalade to pull this thing over so we can work on it. Let's get going. You ready to drive this thing? Look at that, it's got AC.
Air conditioning, 40 miles an hour with the window down there.
I figure we can probably pull you at 50 if you want the good AC.
I do like good AC.
Let's go.
What we ought to do is just make a little wing adapter.
Wing mirror.
And you know, them what do they call them again? The windows that open right here?
Yeah, a wing window.
Wing window, yeah. There's wing windows.
Yeah,
they're underrated.
You're right. Check this out too. I think since I got all the check engine lights clear.
Oh no! Come on.
Oh yeah, this has remote start too. You put it in gear and pull it. Well, there you have it. The Escalade runs again after 2 engines, a ton of work. I'm glad it drives correctly. So that is the end of the series temporarily. We will get back to it as I install the interior. Obviously, I've got that new center console sitting back here. It's right there. A couple trim pieces that need to go on the dash. I've got a whole bunch of brand new stuff to make sure that all the seats look great, the leather looks great, then we'll detail it, and she should be back on the road. That is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop WatchJRGo.com for cool shirts, not like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, and I will talk to you next time. Man, this is a lineup people want to see right here. You got TRX Escalade, FX4, Eric's, just got hit by a guy 10 minutes ago truck right there. Destroyed. Looks like he's getting a new truck for free.